Have you ever thought of grabbing someone by the neck and punching them in the throat? Huh. Well, this episode isn't exactly about that, but it is about people in your life that you sometimes just consider it. Today, we'll discuss the hashtag no contact movement that is sweeping the world. So stick around, like and subscribe, and I'll be right back. Welcome to Metaphysical Practitioners with Dr. Karina Felix. I am the founder of the Ophidian Institute of Metaphysical Science and Lifestyle Mastery, a home for future metaphysical scientists ready to embody and teach practical metaphysical principles, elevate their lifestyle into affluence, influence, and unapologetic opulence, and gain the credibility and opportunity that certification provides. Each episode moves beyond outdated spirituality into the new era of applied metaphysical science, giving you the tools to guide and support others in real time. This is where body, mind, and soul become one, and where you contribute from a place of overflow. As metaphysicists, we teach how to be in this world without being affected by it. It takes working from a higher frequency to see and identify the societal collective trauma being played out in families. Parents have the urge and need to create a better place for the children based on their own life experiences, believing they are doing the best they can with the skills, tools, knowledge, and experiences they have gained. At times, parents deviate from what is suitable for the child to what is best for us, the parent, so that we look like the winners in this game of life. If we can design a life for our children that gives them the greatest impact and opportunity for happiness and joy, then, we believe that we've done our jobs. But in the interim, each generation comes with its own soul's contract to fulfill. While the parents' well organized plans are not part of their journey. And that is where the conflict begins. That age old saying that every generation expresses, the one that says, I wish I knew then what I know now. But that philosophy could never work in the spiritual realm. We each individually create and design our own journey based on the agreement we made before coming to Earth. But when we deviate too far from our soul's mission and purpose, we encounter all the disconnects and antagonistic scenarios that play out in family drama. Parents want the best for the children, and the children want to experience life on their own terms. We tend to want to be right and for others to agree with us. But thankfully, the new generation is much more intuitive with their feelings and boundaries. I've had my own issues with my children. I knew what I experienced in my childhood, and so I wanted to shield them so much from experiencing the same that I went overboard completely to the other side. I was a helicopter mom who wanted to be a part of every choice and decision they made. This only worked while they were young. And just like me and all of us, teenage years arrived. And we needed to show our independence, our preferences, and our own character. We are each born with our own character, perspectives, and free will. If even God gave us free will, why would we as parents believe we are in total control of our children? So the actual question is, do we establish a hashtag no contact whatsoever with our parents, children, and immediate family? Or is there a different way to go about it? I just watched an Oprah Winfrey podcast episode about the hashtag no contact movement. And one couple chose to completely step away from their parents because of their differences. Even though in the moment it may look and feel like the right decision, the truth is, are you opening a door to repeat a hashtag no contact situation in the future for yourself as well? Hmm. So think about this. What precedents are you setting for your own children? Because here's one truth: children don't do what you say, they do what you do. They are imitators, and that is how they learn, by imitating you. How you navigate family conflict becomes their blueprint. So, do you want to establish a path where your children have already been given the option to walk away from their parents when things are not working out as smoothly as they wished? The psychologist on the show discussed mental health and finding safety from toxic families, but they didn't address the long term effects of not resolving these issues consciously from a higher perspective. Should we completely close the door on parents, children, and siblings because we don't share the same opinions, attitudes, or even belief systems? I, you know, I grew up Catholic, but disagreed with aspects of the faith from a young age. During my teenage years, my boyfriend and I converted to Christianity. Can you believe that? This caused significant distress for our mothers. Yet, eventually, our choices, even if not accepted, were tolerated, and the battles ceased. Because in the long run, they realized we were going to do what we wanted anyway. And I guess they figured that not losing contact with their children was more important than the faith we chose to follow. So, if there were a better way to handle this situation, what could it be? I will be the first to admit that I've created a distance between my family and me. While Aruba is a Dutch colony and supports Aruban students traveling to Holland for higher education, and that is where all my siblings went after high school, I chose to go the other way and came to the USA instead. It was subtle, but effective. Not being in the midst of family drama was one of my motives. Well, of course, next to the cold, cloudy weather. But this way, I can enjoy family time in small increments and then return to my safe, secure home space. It's kind of like Thanksgiving, where the family convenes for one day over food, cocktails, reminiscing, laughter, and yes, the irritation of their expectations. So, how about we change the narratives? And instead of showing up ready for a fight, you show up with unconditional love coming from a place of peace and complete body, mind, and soul integration. A place where your inner self is always at peace. And no matter what someone else says, you take it with a grain of salt, as they say. Their battles, beliefs, and expectations don't have to be yours. You also don't need to get caught up in the drama. When you know what the situation already is, why bother letting your frequency drop so low that you experience the hurt, neglect, and discomfort all over again? Once you accept that your parents or children are who they are and allow them to be, then that is your superpower. They don't need to accept you, your beliefs, or your choices and decisions. Why do you still need their approval? Do you approve of yourself? Are you happy with your choices and decisions? Are you living your dream lifestyle? From a metaphysical perspective, one of my biggest lessons came from my own daughter. She told me I needed to learn boundaries. Woo! For a helicopter mom, this transition from hovering to letting go was huge. It didn't happen overnight. I had to engage in deep soul searching to find balance between these two extremes. And here's another example. Growing up, this is between my siblings, we were not allowed to fight or stop talking to each other. It was a house rule, right? So we may disagree and argue, yet move forward without keeping a grudge. I remember once, right after a fierce argument with one of my brothers, and immediately after asking him, I'm going into the kitchen to make a sandwich. You want one? Because what I learned from my dad was once it's over and said, it's done, move on. And I've implemented that in my life since I was very young. So letting go of the helicopter mindset was a transition that required deep soul searching. But it taught me that conscious, deliberate engagement rather than reactive withdrawal creates the environment where growth and connection can flourish without resentment or regret. So how can we avoid like a complete 100% hashtag no contact with immediate family? Well, unbeknownst to me, I was living the Four Agreements philosophy long before the book was even written. The tools we use in this practice align closely with the Four Agreements. And those are: it's not about you. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Be impeccable with your words and do your best every moment. This isn't avoidance, it's self accountability, self preservation, and conscious evolution. Instead of showing up ready to fight or argue, you show up from a space of unconditional love, complete integration of body, mind, and soul, and unshakable higher frequency. Their beliefs and battles do not need to become yours. Your journey is truly about you and your soul's mission. As a parent, mentor, teacher, the next group of humans is looking at you for the best example to follow. Because just like each one of us, we take the good parts with us and discard the parts that don't fit. Our kids and their kids will continue to do the same because this is not avoidance or disconnecting. This is evolution. So, mourning the loss of the life you thought would be, accepting reality, and stepping into a new paradigm of awareness. This is the metaphysical way. And from a metaphysical perspective, the real work is in acceptance. Accepting your parents as they are, accepting ourselves, our choices, and the paths our children choose. Again, this is your superpower, the ability to remain whole, unshaken, and in alignment with your soul's purpose. The world needs more practitioners who can teach compassion, discernment, and practical tools from a metaphysical perspective, not outdated psychoanalysis or spiritual fluff. If you feel called to join this new movement of modern metaphysical teachers, coaches, and guides, I invite you to schedule a call with me. Let's have a conversation. I'm open to hearing your experiences, questions, and reflections. Remember, this is the path of conscious awakening, a paradigm shift where understanding, acceptance, and empowered action replace resentment, regret, and disconnection. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for listening to Metaphysical Practitioners with Dr. Karina Felix. The world needs your presence, your guidance, and your embodiment of modern metaphysical principles. Until next time, walk your path from a place of influence, affluence, and opulence.